Let's take a look at the Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth comic book adaptation from Epic. Epic, of course, was an imprint under Marvel, the official adaptation of the hit horror sequel. I don't know how much of a hint Part 3 was. Here's a little write-up about the movie itself. Let's take a look inside. This is a fairly faithful adaptation of the movie. This is from 1992. Yeah, so Hellraiser 3 I think came out around 1992. It's a 90s movie, but it's not. It's still firmly planted in 1980s sensibilities. There's this statue here with Pinhead, and it's being sold to this dude. And here's this reporter. So all of the likenesses, I think, are here. I don't know if they signed away their likeness or what was going on. Like even this guy looks like that in the movie. And so here's this dude's being rushed into the hospital, and then he's got chains all over him, and the chains blow up everywhere, and they kill a bunch of people. And this reporter who didn't have a story all of a sudden has a story. And so she wants to investigate this thing. And there's this nightclub run by this shady dude. And they worked in this whole, like, flashback to Vietnam or something. and this girl's dad died there. And she keeps flashing back to that and reliving that. And there's this supposedly teenager. She didn't look much like a teenager in the movie, but she has nowhere to go. She's homeless, and she's interrogated by this reporter. She was there when that guy with the chains killed all those doctors and everything. And she has the box here. And so, anyways, this statue is slowly coming to life. It needs blood, and so this guy kind of like gets his blood on this statue. It sort of like scratches him, and the blood gets slurped right into it, and Pinhead's slowly coming to life. I like this style of art. This is from the early 90s or so. A lot of comics look like this, rather than the thick line art of the Bronze Age and the Silver Age. It was going more to this more sketcherly approach with a lot of lines to depict things. There was the harsher version that Todd McFarlane had with just lines all over the place, and a lot of people drew like that. But then there's this more sort of illustrative approach that a lot of comics had. And a lot of comics were horror comics, especially like Midnight Suns type of stuff. And they featured this sort of art style as well. So this is the bad guy here, and he's trying to get people on board. He's already been recruited by Pinhead, and Pinhead wants to come alive. And he turns on this guy and chains him and stuff. There's not a lot of the blood and gore from the movie here. I guess there wouldn't be, but it's kind of why you buy a Hellraiser thing. This guy gets ripped apart and stuff by this thing, so I don't know. There's also a scene in the movie where this guy had sex with a woman, and then the statue strips off her flesh and then slurps her into the statue. That's not really here. I don't think we passed that. I think I don't think. Oh yeah, this girl. So she dies. It's not really clear by the art what happened to her here. It's not like the movie. You know, I would buy movie adaptations and read them and stuff, and then, you know, as a treat, if something was on TV and I had the movie adaptation, I would read a comic adaptation, then I would watch the movie. Here's all these bodies and everything. So this is toward the end, I think, where Pinhead is now in the real world, and he kills everybody in this nightclub here. And he creates all these Cenobites. So her cameraman now has this camera in his head, and does shoot a hole through this guy's forehead, so that's here. There are more Cenobites. There's this CD Cenobite who could throw CDs and they chop people like throwing stars. And there's this guy who can who throws flames from his mouth, yeah. And they destroy these cops, that's in the film. So yeah, story beat for story beat, this is the movie. It was never clear what happened to this priest here in the film. He confronts Pinhead, but I don't think he dies. I think he just gets hurt a bit. But yeah, Pinhead goes into a church. So a lot of the dramatic flair is gone, right? Because it's a comic. So like when Pinhead goes into the church, all these stained glass windows blow up and stuff. This is just the story beat of he goes into a church and he fights this priest, and that's about it. They think they killed Pinhead, but with the box here, but the girl goes back in time to his father, to her father, and her father reveals how to really kill Pinhead, and they try to do that here. The art is kind of unclear as to what's going on here, but she's turning into a Cenobite. She's got that mask on and everything. The father and Pinhead confront each other and meld much the same way that they did in the movie. And there you go. Everyone's defeated. Pinhead can come back later on. So the box gets buried into this wet cement. The cement is foundation for a giant building. When the building is made, boxes are all over the art and everything. So there you go. This is the this was the comic book adaptation of Hellraiser 3. Just when I feel something didn't have a comic book adaptation, I find one somewhere in the wild, like in a comic show or something like that. And that's where I found this. I bought this for, I don't know, $1 or something like that. No one wanted it. But it's neat to have around. It's a comic adaptation of Hellraiser 3. How random is that? Pretty cool. All the story beats are here. Not so much the blood and gore, but just the suggestion of it. So I hope you like looking through this with me. If you like what you saw, please give a like to this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Lots of great comic book stuff on here. So until next time, take care.